So today is September 11th. And obviously, everybody's talking about what happened to Charlie Kirk yesterday. And, most people are in the know that it was planned, and that is good because for us to know who the real enemy is what this is all really about. Because what this is all going to come down to, and it's going to be dependent on us, the people, is either there's going to be a civil war or there's going to be a revolution. And we've reached the tipping point, and yesterday was the tipping point. So, what I've been learning about since I've been involved with the Pythagorean Illuminati is about the problem, in the world. The problem in the world mainly associated with the three-body problem of politics, which is democracy, and religion, which is the Abrahamic religions, and economy, which is free market Zionist capitalism. And the elite, the hierarchy that enslaves us, has its tentacles of control in those three facets, which are responsible for controlling the world. So, because of what happened yesterday, and how I know it was a move for a certain political narrative to be enforced. Because this is all coming from behind a Zionist agenda. And that is who's behind this, is the elite, Zionistic, predatory, free market capitalist, billionaires, oligarchs, tech bros, technocracy, all the cronies that are involved with keeping this old world order about, which is an Orwellian dystopia, where we, the people, are locked into a panopticon. And a panopticon is a prison. So that's the reality of what America is. And it is the new Rome. It's Rome again, because the Illuminati their presence have been around since 561 BCE. So they've maintained their records throughout time and just been gathering information about all these different times and what's been happening towards them and in them, and then giving accounts of what's happening right now, like cyclically, and how it's what's relevant now is what's always been relevant, like in the past, because it's always been the elite and the old world order that control the people. And it is done through the guise of democracy. And because the democracy was supposed to be for the people, by the people, but it is actually for the elite, by the elite, by the elite, for the elite. And that is becoming more prevalent every day. And so that really is who the enemy is the elite, the rich, billionaire, plutocratic oligarchs that make up the 0.1%, the organization, as they are known by the Illuminati. So, what I've learned in the Illuminati is that, this everything is collapsing right now. This is the end of democracy. And it is like, that's what they've been saying is, we're either going to be liberated from this, or we're going to be enslaved again with another governance system that enslaves people, or we're going to be liberated by a governance system that is for the good of the people, the highest good of the people, which is actually what a government is supposed to be for anyway. But it's very clear now, especially here in America, that it is for the particular will and not the general will that the government is working and supporting for. So, the illusion of democracy, because it is an illusion. They say that we get to vote. Every 4 years, they give you the vote, that the people decide who's going in. But that's just clear that it's not like that, because politics is completely corrupted, and you only get to choose who gets in by people that are put there. With by people with the most money, because the market is what actually runs the system. So, and the market is predatory free market Zionist capitalism. So that is only looking out for a particular will. And so, for centuries, democracy has been hailed as the pinnacle of human governance. From Athens to Washington, from Enlightenment to post-Cold War order, democracy has been celebrated as the system that guarantees fairness, equality, and liberty. But behind its golden veneer lies a darker truth. Democracy has not delivered on its promises. So that's just a truth that we have to accept. And then when this is true, that's why, it must be identified by the people of the nation that we have to stop supporting democracy, because all of this fighting and stuff, infighting, Republicans, Democrats, liberals, conservatives, Christians, Muslims, Jews, LGBTQ, Black Lives Matter, all these different things is just to completely divide everybody. And they keep doing false flag attacks to make it even worse and more of a divide, until it's just straight up going to end up into a civil war or us unifying. But if you the only way that we could be unified is if that there was an answer. And there is an answer, because everybody's talking about the problem, but the answer, the Illuminati have the answer. And I have found the answer through discovering meritocracy and a meritocratic republic, because that is actually what is going to dialectically replace democracy once democracy falls and everybody sees all the corruption and that it doesn't work, and it's for a particular will of an elite people, plutocratic oligarchy, technocracy, and that is the one thing that the elite didn't want the people to see, but obviously it was going to be inevitable as they just kept taking from the people, because they own everything. And they own everything even more. That's why 100% inheritance tax is so important, because that stops them from passing on their wealth and their power in perpetuity throughout time. So that's why to be a meritocrat, part of being a meritocrat is 100% inheritance tax. And yes, that does mean that you don't pass on your assets and stuff to your family members. You give them back to the state. But the thing is, though, is that the state is a meritocracy. It's not a democratic fascist oligarchic technocracy, that is just for the particular will. It's actually for the general will. It supports that's what a meritocracy is. The people's voices are heard. It is equal. Everybody starts out at the equal starting line. That's why actually 100%, because if 100% inheritance tax isn't implemented, everyone won't start out at the equal starting line. The families will have all the money, and they'll just maintain the power, and they'll keep maintaining the power. So therefore, it's not equal if they have everything. So that's what 100% inheritance tax does, and that is one of the key components of being a meritocrat. So, while it proclaims to empower the people, in reality, democracy is a machinery that empowers those who manipulate it best. Majority rule is easily swayed by rhetoric, wealth, and influence. Elections, the supposed sacred right of the people, often serve as spectacles where the wealthy and powerful decide the outcome long before the first vote is cast. Democracy's great illusion is that it represents the will of the people. In truth, it has become the instrument of entrenched elites who maintain their dominance by cloaking themselves in the language of freedom. So that just is going over how, it's an illusion. Elections are supposed to be the sacred right of the people, but they're, spectacles of the wealthy and powerful, and they're decided way before they're even ran. And everything is cloaked, in the language of freedom, but it's all about power and control. And it's like, that's why everybody hates, like the government right now, because it's all about power and control and not for the people. So that can just be seen through that's gonna naturally happen. So the rise of democratic hegemony. This 20th century entrenched democracy as global standard. With the fall of fascism and communism, it was marked not only as a political framework, but as a moral imperative, the inevitable destiny of all nations. So, basically, that's what it was. Liberal democracy was the final stage of political evolution. It was supposed to be the best thing. Everybody, if they're, nations were ruled by democracy, everything would be better. That's why we, America went out and, put democracy everywhere. But actually, there's a book called Confessions of an Economic Hitman. And that's all about a guy that worked for the CIA that was known as a jackal. And the jackals would go out into wherever nation they needed to go, and then they would get the people there, the power there, to an economic entrapment, and then, or if that didn't happen, then they'd send in the army to bring in democracy. So this is all just coming up. This is all just becoming clear. And this is part of disclosure. This is part of the truth coming out. And then the people reacting to it. So, the failures of democracy. The facade now crumbles, exposing democracy's systematic flaws. Populism and polarization. Leaders exploit fear and prejudice, appealing to the basest instincts rather than the highest reason. Societies fractures into hostile camps, united only in mutual distrust. So that's where we are at right now. Leaders, fear and prejudice, exploited fear, people getting assassinated, to to control narrative, prejudice, people getting put against each other with different views of things, which is that always going to be that political war that's going on between the Republicans and the Democrats. That's why I'm coming forward with a third way, which is a meritocrat and a meritocracy, and the way that the Illuminati are actually have already figured out. So, because that's what's going to be the key to people understanding how we fix everything, are these ideas, because everything first starts out as an idea, and there is one thing more powerful than all the armies of the world, and that is an idea whose time has come. And it's time for meritocracy. It's time for illumination. It's time for social and national capitalism. It's time for a new world. It is time for a new world order, not an old world order of globalization and all of the wars and everything that the elite have been responsible for. That's the old world order. Part of the Armageddon conspiracy is that the Illuminati are actually the good guys, and they're actually fighting the good fight against the elite, and have been actually throughout all of the ages, back since 561 BCE, before all the religions, Abrahamic religions. That's how long the Illuminati have been in this war between light and darkness. And the Illuminati have never been the ones that have won. They've been responsible for revolutions of the past, where the people, French Revolution, American Revolution, Russian Revolution, all the revolutions they've been responsible for enacting, but to the good of the people, for their liberation and freedom from the hierarchy that has always enslaved us. So that's who the Illuminati are, and that's why they want a new world order, something new, a new political paradigm, a new economic paradigm, a new religious paradigm, that changes the world into actually a Star Trek civilization. That is actually what a new world order is. That's the Armageddon conspiracy, and that's the idea that could change the world. But the elite actually created a whole false misinformation, disinformation, so people would think that the Illuminati are the bad guys. They would put, who the bad guys actually are as the good guys, and then that's what they did. They reversed it, so people wouldn't be able to learn the idea of what a new world looks like. That's why meritocracy is important to understand, because everybody knows the problem. Democracy is completely corrupt. You know what I'm saying? It's completely failed. And everybody is going to be fighting about that. Everybody's going to be arguing about that. Political strife, all that stuff. Going to leak into religion, all that stuff. But I am saying that the light and the darkness is a meritocracy, and that's why I'm coming basically to get people ready for what a meritocracy is. So, ineffectiveness and gridlock. Mechanisms intended to encourage debate have calcified into permanent paralysis. Issues such as climate change, inequality, and technological disruption remain unaddressed. So these are all things that the government is not addressing, and that needs to be addressed for the people. And it's locking us in gridlock. There's no there's the decline, and then there's stagnation. That's why things have never changed, is because they've always had the elite have always been the puppet masters behind political power. And the elite, it's pretty clear who the elite are. Once again, I'll say the billionaires, technocrats, and oligarchs, and including, you know, the one that people don't want to think is, you know, responsible for things, but are soon going to find out that as things get worse and worse, that that person is responsible for those things. Elitist domination. Wealth dictates outcomes. Lobbyists write laws. Billionaires fund campaigns. And media moguls manufacture consent. The people remain spectators in a game rigged by the powerful. So that's where we're at. You know, the powerful, that's why I just don't like watching them parade around. And because they are privileged, you know, that's what democracy and power, the people of the privileged are in the positions of power instead of the people of the best merit, you know, because that's what a meritocracy is it will put people in the best merit by actually having people vote for people of those positions of power by people that are qualified in those positions to vote. So that is how each person will be put into positions of power. That's how merit will be replace privilege. So yeah, it's just, you know, we have to wake up to the system that's definitely controlling us, enslaving us, and then we have to stop supporting it. We have to stop voting. Like, just stop voting for democracy. Stop supporting democracy, because this is what it looks like now. It's like completely fascist, and it's that's what it is now. And until we change the system, that's what it's going to be. Orwellian dystopian government. That's what it is. No matter how much people want to think it's something more than that, that is what it is. So you know, the mythology of democracy as humanity's ultimate achievement is unraveling. Declining voter turnout, mass protests, and rising disillusionment reveal a growing recognition. Democracy is incapable of meeting the demands of the 21st century. So very clear that that's true. You know, that's what's also going on, is because I've you know, read in the Armageddon Conspiracy what the Illuminati put out every week about what's actually going on in the world, and how what's really going on is America is declining, collapsing. We are not the most powerful nation in the world. China is definitely the most powerful. Like, you can see in their, like, just the military parade. Like, if you watch their military parade, like the Illuminati, we're talking about it. They are like on point. They are all, like, I heard they march blindfolded and stuff to just be so on point. It's like, it's very clear that that socialist way has united the people in a way that America is not united. So that's how they are more powerful than us, is because their system of government, their socialist system of government, is actually working better. So that is yeah. Anyways, technology has hastened its decay. Algorithms and surveillance manipulate public opinion, while social media reduces civic discourse to noise. Far from protecting liberty, democratic states increasingly enable its erosion. In the age of artificial intelligence, global interconnection, and existential risk, democracy appears less as a solution and more as an obstacle. So toward a post-democratic future, this is what, once democracy completely fails and the people realize it, this is what we need to do to re-establish our government. The end of democratic hegemony is not collapse but transition. Just as monarchies yielded to republics, democracy too must give way to something greater. A post-democratic future must embody the ideals of democracy promised but never realized. Meritocracy, power must rest with those most capable individuals of intellect, vision, and integrity, not with those who manipulate wealth or public sentiment. So, just very clear, that's what needs to happen. Long-term governance. Leadership must be liberated from the electoral cycle, focusing on sustainability, intergenerational responsibility, and humanity's survival. So, global unity, problems transcending borders, climate change, resource scarcity, technological disruption, demand solutions that transcend nationalist democracies. So that's important right there, because what Trump is doing is he is nationalizing America, which is pulling out of all like the global friends we have and stuff, and he's making America a rogue nation. And that nationalist thing is actually, it's the same thing that the NAZIs did. They nationalized their government, and then it didn't end up so well for them because everybody was against them in the end, which is the same thing that is happening with the nationalization of America. And we need to be looking out for like global unity, like working with people, different countries and stuff, instead of nationalizing our country. So, technological integration. Governance should harness technology for transparency, accountability, and rational decision making, rather than for manipulation and control. So, right now, technological integration is like, they are completely watching us, like person of interest, the show person of interest, like they watch everybody, and a surveillance state, plus all the trillions of dollars that go into like technologies that we don't get to see, the people don't get to see, the elite do, all the anti-grav, all the healing technologies, all that stuff is not being given to the people that the money is being taken from. So that's a problem. So the challenge of transition, this transformation will face fierce resistance. Elites who thrive with democracy's shell will fight to preserve it, while the masses conditioned to equate democracy with freedom may fear alternatives. Yet history proves that no system is eternal. Humanity has always advanced by discarding what no longer serves it. So that's what time it is. And the elites are going to do everything to fight tooth and nail. They're going to start, they're going to put on shows, do false flags, to try to steer narratives, so things are continued a certain way. People, masses that are, conditioned and stuff, that are traditionalists are going to, fear alternative ways of things being ran. But they need to not do that, because this is not good. So they need to be open to alternative ways, which is a meritocracy. It needs to replace democracy. That's the answer. So, humanity always advances by discarding what no longer serves it. So democracy is to be discarded in the future and right now. So the twilight of democratic hegemony should not inspire despair, but courage. It is an opportunity to build a system grounded not in illusion, but in truth. A society led by reason, guided by vision, and oriented toward the collective good. The death of democracy is not the end of freedom. it is the beginning of a higher order. So I'm going to end that right there. And then, I'm going to continue on the fight that I'm fighting, and to get out to the truth. Because this event that happened with Charlie Kirk just made me really mad and made me just really just want to get the truth out even more, because that's what people need. And I am telling you that I have access to the truth through the Pythagorean Illuminati and everything that I have learned in my life. So I'm passing that on to the world so that we can know the truth, and then the truth is what will set us free and liberate humanity. So until next time.